Centering is a form of prenatal care that we do here at the office with Cathy J. Berry and Associates. It is different from traditional care in that with traditional care you meet one-on-one with your provider and your nurse for each of your prenatal visits throughout the pregnancy. With centering, you would be assigned to a group of moms and dads who are all due around the same due date, and you meet together for 10 sessions throughout the entire pregnancy, and then we also do have a gathering after all the babies are born for a reunion. During each of those sessions we have specific topics of education that we go over that help you learn about pregnancy related issues that you're all experiencing and postpartum related issues that you might experience down the road, whether it's discomforts of pregnancy, or we talk about the labor process and postpartum depression and anxiety, and we talk about early baby care. Each of the groups are based on your gestational age, so it is a blend of both first-time moms and dads and also moms and dads who've done this 2, 3, 4 times. And everyone is an active participant in the centering group and actively helps teach each other and learn from each other throughout the entire course of the pregnancy. So it's not us talking at you and teaching you, it's more that you're learning together as a group and learning together how to best succeed in your pregnancy and achieve the best outcomes with your pregnancy. We really have a lot of enjoyment in our groups, both as providers and also participants have stated that they really enjoy the groups because they feel they actually are in an active role of their pregnancy and feel that they actually are getting to make a decision about what they want to learn throughout the pregnancy and are playing that active role throughout the entire pregnancy and postpartum. And they do develop a community aspect with the other moms and dads and feel they have that community support throughout the entire pregnancy and postpartum, and they can rely on that support system for years to come. And lots of the participants throughout pregnancy and centering have said that they get together with the other moms and dads that they were in groups with, and they have that support system to be able to rely on for years to come, and they really enjoy it.
Sure. So my first pregnancy, I had the traditional care where I had one-on-one visits with my provider. And I enjoyed that. I had a midwife and she was able to spend a lot of time with me. But for my second pregnancy, when I was asked if I wanted to try centering, I had never heard of it before, and so I agreed and we went to the centering sessions, and I felt like I really enjoyed centering a lot more. It gave me a community of women that were going through the same things at the same time through their pregnancies. We were able to bounce ideas off of each other, and were given resources for things. Even being a second-time mom, there were things that we went over that I had forgotten about from the first time around, or that I hadn't known the first time around. So I felt like it was a lot of good information, and we really developed relationships through the group. I still keep in contact with a lot of the ladies and hang out with them and have seen their children, and I think that's just really important. Not only to make the relationship with the women, but to have like mommy dates, or sometimes you don't always have that when you're a mom because you don't get out as much as you'd like sometimes, so that was also a nice aspect of it. So I can see from a first-time mom perspective how it would be very, very helpful because they give a lot of information in the sessions, things you might not even think about that you might need to know, and definitely having women who have been through different experiences. Sometimes that's their second pregnancy, so you get a lot of like the clinical information, but you also get experiential from the other women that you're talking to, and that can be very helpful too, where they say, well, maybe you can try this or try that, or we did it this way and it helped, or things like that. So I think for a first-time mom, it's really helpful. They give you resources, such as like for postpartum depression, they go over that a lot, which a lot of women might not want to talk about, or it's not, discussed a lot, and it's a very normal thing to go through, so they touch on that a lot throughout, and I think that's very helpful to know that information because it's a very real thing that you could go through. And second time around, I think just the community aspect of it is really, really awesome. Like I said, making those friendships with the other moms and touching on information that you already know, but of course, you know, years go by after a first child and you forget, or you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So it's really good information to still have. I definitely recommend centering. I've recommended it to people who have asked me about my gynecologist, my OBGYN. I say that it was a very different experience from my first time around, but that it was actually pretty awesome because they say, you know, you were a second-time mom, why do you need to go to classes like that? And I still think that it was beneficial, even being the second time around.
Not ready? What do you think of that?
You just never know, like.
I don't think you're ever really ready.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's okay.
It is. I think motherhood is about learning to be able to go with the flow and recognizing you will never be prepared for every circumstance and situation and be able to create it on the fly. Honestly, if I could, you know, give 37 years worth of mothering advice, that's what I would say. Create it on the go.
As a first-time mom, I wanted more support instead of having just like a 15-minute appointment.
Do you feel, since we're getting at our end of our centering group, you've accomplished this and you feel a little more comfortable?
Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable.
Perfect. How about you, Steve? What is the best thing that you found with centering? Bringing Megan here.
I enjoy sharing in the experience of getting to go through all the steps of pregnancy.
Okay. Do you feel like it's a good fit for a lot of people having these centering groups rather than traditional care?
Yeah, because
Definitely do.
people are answering questions or asking questions that you don't think of at the time, and then you're like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And then on the way home, we're able to talk about
That's
different
awesome.
questions. So.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you.
I enjoyed being able to kind of relate my personal experiences with everyone else's experience. It was also nice to go through each week or each meeting to go through and have different topics to talk about, things that I never thought to talk about. And so it was good learning versus just Google searching everything myself. Just a lot of knowledge. Like I said, I wouldn't be asking these questions. I wouldn't have known to ask these questions. One thing in particular, I know we went through the stages of labor and not to push until you're told. Like, I thought that was a key information, that something like that never would have even thought to ask. Just would have pushed and ruined the whole thing. Yep, so my sister had a baby almost exactly 2 months before me, and just talking to her about her knowledge and just things that she would say, I would just already know the answers, and she'd already have to go back to her doctor, ask these questions, and I just felt like I gained so much more from my centering experience than what she got through her whole birth experience. I know with like breastfeeding in particular, I felt like I had a lot more knowledge going into the whole thing than she did. So that was one thing I think we talked about a lot in centering, and that helped prepare me. For first-time moms, I 100% recommend it. Like, you have to do it if you have an option to do it.
So this is Eva Joy Smith, newest addition to our family. Very excited to have her part of her life now.
Almost 3 months.
Almost 3 months. So I think at first I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, but you know, as I attended the classes, was able to gain a lot of knowledge about the whole process. It was helpful not only to gain the understanding of what was going to be happening in the future, but also to be able to support Heather through the whole process, to be, with her and support her. Yeah, I think I felt I was a little ahead of the curveball on a lot of things. Knowing what to expect, and just from even hearing their past experiences, being able to come here and learn something and say, okay, maybe I want to try this differently than what you suggested to me. Yes, I would definitely recommend it for whether it's the husband, boyfriend, even a friend there to support, the person that's going through the labor experience. And definitely if we have another child, we'll definitely be doing this.